Welcome to CEEC Spotlight Leader Conversations, where industry collaborates on eco-efficient minerals. CEEC is a not-for-profit, and we're proud to help share the latest thinking and new innovations from around the world that can reduce mining's energy, emissions and water footprint. And thanks to our sponsors for making this possible. Hello and welcome to CEEC Spotlight Leader Conversations. Today I'm delighted to be speaking to Brian Cornish, Global Lead Application Engineer at ME Elecmetal, José Pablo Domínguez, General Manager at ME Elecmetal South America, and Roberto Lecaros, Vice President Global Marketing at ME Elecmetal. Welcome and thank you so much for speaking to me today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So my first question, with COP26, there's now a keen focus by investors on net zero. What is ME Elecmetal doing in this area, and what are your thoughts on industry opportunities?
I would say that, this is a great opportunity and challenge at the same time. As ME Elecmetal, we are doing a lot, but we need to prepare ourselves to be, in order to formalize that to the market. So we are in the process of starting to certify some things, the calculator of the, for example, the carbon footprint. We do measure that. We've been measuring that for several years, but we need to certify that in order to make that public. And the same with some other initiatives that we are kind of formalizing in order to be able to put together that. We are aiming into commit to the net zero, but we are not yet ready to make that public.
Brian or Roberto, would you like to add anything to that?
Perhaps I will add something, let's say, more general of the mining industry, what we have seen in several countries, but especially in Chile, the industry is working a lot in what we call the green copper challenge. And the green copper means to produce copper with of course, with renewable energy and using also green hydrogen. And this is something that the mining industry is working with all of the supplier in the different aspect of that project. But in general, I would say that mining industry with the companies as ME Elecmetal, as suppliers, are working together in that sort of a long-term vision on what we call green copper.
Yeah, and additionally, I would also like to mention that our mission is to, as a company, is to satisfy and exceed the expectation of the stakeholders. So on that regard, all the evolution we have seen, a positive evolution from the communities, from the mining industry, in order to raise the bar in carbon emissions, in circular economy, and recycling, which is key for us. Most of what we do is about recycling. Put us automatically on the challenge of joining the party and doing the best effort to improve. So that's we're aiming into that 100%.
Yeah, one thing that I would add is that CEEC has been very successful at raising the awareness of energy reduction in energy consumption as well as water consumption, and also raising the awareness of engaging with suppliers that are very aware of this and making all positive steps that are aligned with the COP26. So as far as that part of it goes, CEEC is very good at that. And as far as mine sites go, utilization of renewable energy is definitely a direction that needs much greater awareness and awareness of all the options that are possible given geographical circumstances.
So do you think there's a role for CEEC to help collaborate on solutions across industry?
Oh, yes, Brian just answered that ahead of time. Yes, no doubt. I saw some cases you have on the webpage, and that goes those type of cases goes fully in line with what we do as an ME Elecmetal, and we see them as a big positives in terms of the net zero.
And most mine sites in the last several decades of mining, they've been focused on consumables that are generally steel products and reagents, that sort of thing. That's a consumable, and that's where we should be focused on reducing our costs. But now the awareness also includes energy and water, and these two commodities make a big difference when you can reduce consumption, even a small amount.
So we know that comminution is key to energy efficiency and productivity. What is the impact of new technologies in this area, and how do you think we can reduce emissions and the consumption of energy and water? Typically,
sites will undergo projects to make small changes in energy consumption, because really the rock grinding process, the mineral process plants are all very heavy on energy consumption. Typically. So if you can make a small difference in this and still have the same end product, that will make a big difference. And that's really what this industry has been all about, is small changes in the operation of the mill, for example. And ME Elecmetal, we provide a lot of guidance for our customers regarding optimization of the grinding mills. And so a couple of examples would be our grinding media products. We've learned over the past 10, 15 years that larger grinding balls can reduce costs, so reduce steel consumption, and in some cases actually reduce energy consumption in these big grinding mills, and at the same time increase throughput rates. So larger balls do enable that in general, especially in these big SAG mills. So we see a small step change with that at some sites. And one other project that we have is acoustic monitoring of mills. And there are a lot of different systems available globally. And some are better than others at different applications. But the system that we have is extremely robust and reliable, and precise, repeatable, and it actually enables the in-mill conditions to be monitored very closely, and that's something that hasn't been done well in our industry. We've been relying on occasionally misleading sensors and data in general. So we have this system that's much more precise now, and it's a 12 microphone system that's installed around the grinding mill that listens to the mill at 12 different locations, and provides the guidance to the operators regarding mill speed, what the throughput rate should be, or the feed addition, as well as water addition. And what we're finding is very small changes can make a very big difference in energy consumption and consumption of steel, and the efficiency of operation of the mills.
I would like to give another example of a new technology or a new product that also helps to reduce the energy. I'm thinking in what we call the polyfeed product. The polyfeed product, it's a solution that combines the best of the casting products, our steel products, with other materials like a rubber or ceramic or others. And through that, you can obtain a liner that in some applications is good because you have a less weight, and then you can improve the productivity and also reduce energy. At the end, it's a new product that combine different materials that help our customers in that direction also.
And additionally, and fully in line with what Brian and Roberto has just mentioned, our marketing approach, more than being focused on one specific product, has to do with integral solution. And that's what we call ME Fit. And by ME Fit, we mean that we study and dedicate ourselves along with the mines to understand the whole process and how the grinding media interacts with the liners and with the ore within the mill, and how can we do that better from an efficiency perspective, better from a maintenance perspective also. And the combination of factors helps. Brian was talking about the bigger size grinding media that has a significant impact on the grades at the mill. So how you match that? Normally the mines, you see all the vendors working in an isolated way. We as ME Elecmetal focus ourselves to do the best for the end user, combining our capacities and knowledge with other vendors along with the mine in order to get the best outcome.
So what are you most excited about in this area? For example, advances, innovations, or other new options for industry?
I think for me, we're very excited to be using the new technologies, new simulation tools, that sort of thing, as well as further developing this microphone system, which has the potential to really improve operations, particularly of the biggest mills, the 40-foot SAG mill operations. So I think with over the next few years, we'll see this unroll at a lot of different sites globally and really benefit the industry.
Yeah, from a general perspective, I see there is a significant opportunity that maybe it was kind of expensive in the past, to integrate whatever you would like to integrate, to analyze data that in the past was impossible to analyze in a short period of time. And at the end, to improve the whole process in this kind of integral solutions approach at a really low cost. And we see still a big gap of improvement in the comminution process. And that gap seems to be more reachable now than in the past.
And to give an example of what José Pablo mentioned, is that we are using a lot of sensor, new technology using sensor, for example, in bolts, in the mills, and also in media, in grinding media, what we call the smart grinding. And that sensors send information from inside the mill online, real-time data, and with our capability, we can analyze all of that data in order to finally give some recommendation to our customers in order to improve the availability or to improve the productivity, the throughput, or any other KPIs that are looking, that at the end it's a better productivity and less energy. That means that we combined technologies as, for example, sensors with the data analytics and with the knowledge of our people that understand very well the comminution process.
And something different, just to complement what Roberto was saying, we also are excited about the awareness from the industry about the opportunity to do things better. And for example, on the circular economy, it was a really tough process for us to buy back our scrap from the mines. We see now a lot more availability from the mines to consider the circular economy. We as ME Elecmetal basically do a lot of recycling. 95% of the material we use for making our liners is recycled material. So we see a lot more openness from the mines to help us on that journey.
What do you think is the future of mineral processing? So in the immediate future, by 2030 and by 2050?
Wow, that's a big question.
Yes.
Brian, go first.
Okay, yeah, I agree. That is a big question. I think in the short term, we will see a lot more accessibility to the data, the operating data from sites, and a lot more sharing. And just a quick background is during my career, I was very reluctant when I was working at mine sites to share data, even with the corporate team, because it just invited questions and confusion and people that didn't really understand process plants. There's a lot more understanding about what's happening at sites now. So it makes sense to share data and to have even a person that isn't experienced in mineral processing can look at data and make connections and correlations that may or may not be realized. So it makes it easier to act on possible improvements. So I think that's an immediate step. In the longer term, I think sites will be taking advantage of renewable energy resources, and that's even happening now in Australia. There's a couple of mines that are almost 100% solar powered, which is fantastic. I think we'll see more of that. We'll see more technologies, maybe the same technologies being improved and more efficient. And why wouldn't we be doing this? Of course, a lot of sites would be asking those types of questions.
The decarbonization will be a must. The water and energy efficiency will be also a must. We as ME Elecmetal also are working on that to move towards renewable energy. 100% of the foundries in the process on the grinding media as well. So that's something that I think will be part of the normal day, and we see the industry with a big opportunity in front to be part of a better future, not be part of the problem.
And the other thing that is, when we look for the future, near future and also long future, is related with safety. In mineral processing, we are seeing our customers, but also our companies, improving a lot in safety for our people. And one example of that is that in the mills, we see the future with nobody inside the mills. And that this is a trend that we will see very soon, perhaps on 2030, no any person inside the mill. And for that, you need to incorporate a lot of technology to get the people outside. And that this is something that is a trend that definitely will come in the near future.
Yeah, a lot less people on site as well, in general.
In general, yes. What we call the remote operational center. And we can see today some of them in Australia, in Chile, and other countries. In the future, we will see much more of those type of center with less people on site.
Well, I suppose it's actually kind of leads into the next question. What's your vision for potential opportunities in the future of industry?
I would say that when I see the potential opportunities of the industry, well, I see a lot of them, because all of the minerals, but especially copper and nickel and lithium, are the ones that are related with all of the renewable energy and all of the electric cars. And when you see the trend of those industry, well, the minerals will play a very important role on that. And because of that, I see the future of our industry developing a lot of new technology in order to improve productivity and the quantity of minerals that will help our countries in order to have, as I said, electric vehicles and also renewable energy like the wind farm, for example.
I think as far as the mining industry goes, you know, we have these huge grinding mills with steel balls inside and lined with steel liners. It's hard to imagine that that will really change, that process of a rotating grinding mill. The mills might get a little bit bigger, but the concept will probably remain for several decades. But I think what will change and the future of these big mills is very precise control of them and getting the maximum productivity out of the energy that's put in, because a lot of energy is unfortunately wasted in grinding. It's just moving rocks and balls around rather than actually grinding and breaking rocks. And so I think the more efficient we can make that by using specialty sensors, that will be absolutely much better, and also possibly improving the quality of the consumables that we use in the mills, such as grinding balls and mill liners, and making a perfect design. You can now count on having the perfect design if given the fact that you have a perfect control system. You can really get into some fine detail of how to design liners and how to design grinding balls, and exactly how many grinding balls to have in the mill at any one time. So well-instrumented mills with excellent quality consumables, I think is the future for mining.
Yeah, and all the vendors, we can contribute on the net zero to the mining industry. And we ourselves can do it, others can do it, and a lot more recycling as well, as Brian was mentioning. If you have a better quality grinding media, you may recycle at least a part of the grinding media from the SAG mill to the secondary milling, which is something that we are actually exploring right now. And that's something interesting that obviously reduces the carbon footprint.
Yeah, one other thing is benchmarking and sharing of ideas, leading practice, that sort of thing. The mining industry has always been very good at that. We get together, have conferences, have meetings, and share ideas. So there isn't a huge competition between mine sites. So I believe that will grow and increase, and we'll see a lot more commonalities between operations. Sometimes there's big differences in rock characteristics and geography, that sort of thing, that drive differences in the plant design and how the plant is operated. But I think in the future we'll see a lot more sharing of ideas, a lot more commonality with plant designs, and that will also be part of what enables precise control of these mills when you know, they're all more or less the same. And right now we see some subtle differences in grinding circuits, for example, that you know, if it was designed a bit differently, then it may be you know, a more efficient process. So I think in future we'll share ideas more and really focus it down to one sort of one plant design with some flexibility built into it.
Well, one example of that sharing information and best practices, as Brian mentioned, it's a virtual congress that we had last month in November that we organized, and we have different speakers from many countries, Australia, Africa, the US, Canada, Chile, Peru, etc. Many countries, many people for those countries that was connected to that summit for the food. And the only idea was to share technical experience, best practices, improvements, and all of the more than 300 people that was connected was asking questions and really sharing the, let's say, the technical information between them. And that's a very good example of what Brian mentioned.
Could you share your thoughts on CEEC and any potential value and opportunities you see, for example, new ideas for collaborative projects?
I mean, you can help us a lot on promoting best practices. You already have a significant list of success cases that could be a good source of information from other operations that maybe could replicate the same experience. Some material you have about ore sorting, for example, that's also interesting. New technology will play a significant role. Maybe we foresee the mills and the crushers are still running, but not exactly the same crushers, not exactly the same mills, probably with a lot more technology, digital applications, as Brian was describing. But then the sharing will be key. Sometimes the sharing is the most complicated part. So on that sense, I think that you can help us on that.
CEEC has been very good at increasing the awareness of energy and now water consumption. And I was talking about, getting together and sharing ideas. The mining industry has been pretty good at that, but only for a few select people. I think now that CEEC is here, first of all, it's a clear demonstration that the mining industry is switched on to the global picture, and CEEC's been around for more than 10 years now, I think. So this is important when some governments and the population in general starts paying more attention to the mining industry. It'll be easy to demonstrate that we've had CEEC for 10 years and we've been sharing ideas and celebrating success, that sort of thing. This is already happening. So I think that's a bit of a tick that we can give ourselves already. It's inevitable that someone's going to be asking that question and interrogating us. And I see that as CEEC's role in the future as well, is being part of capturing these ideas and visiting sites and having meetings with key people and collecting ideas and enabling that sharing and sharing of leading practice and increasing that awareness of how good things are controlled and operated in other parts of the world. So yeah, CEEC definitely has a role there. It's kind of political in a way, but it's also very, very real.
CEEC may take advantage of the significant change in the mining industry. The mining industry used to be kind of a low profile, 100% low profile. And now I think this is a huge opportunity for the mining industry to contribute to the planet. And I see them kind of motivated with that opportunity, and CEEC may help us to connect.
And also I understand that the workshop that CEEC has been organizing a very good opportunity to learn and to share. I remember that you had a very interesting workshop in the last SAC conference in Vancouver on 2019. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend to that workshop, but I heard from some colleagues that it was a wonderful opportunity to understand what are the studies or what are the roadmap that you have, and also to share ideas with the other people that was attending that workshop.
So when ME Elecmetal came on board as a CEEC sponsor, you spoke of the company's investment in renewables for facilities in South America. Could you give us an update on new installations and why it's so important for METS companies to invest in these initiatives? Chile
has been, I'm not sure about if Chile is the number one or not. I'm assuming not, but Chile has been quite active on renewable energy. So we as a business group, we do have several companies, and within the companies we invested on wind generation plants. We have 2 generation plants, and as our owners are still interested on that area. And on the same token, we also, as I mentioned already, we are working on moving toward renewable energy in our own consumptions. and that's something that we are planning to put in place and implement during 2022. So we see a lot of benefits on the renewable energy, and as a group, we will continue investing on that.
Sorry, I'm having some dog problems.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah, I mean, ME Elecmetal doesn't, we don't create renewable energy systems, but I'm sure it's just a matter of time before our customers will demand that of anyone who's supplying consumables. You know, it'll have to be in the plan or actually happening.
So Brian, Jose, Pablo, Roberto, thank you so much for those great insights today. It's wonderful to hear about all the interesting things that you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
No, you're welcome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, more than available to cooperate and discuss whatever idea you may have also to share with us.
If you've enjoyed today's conversation, get in contact, contribute your work and join CEEC's followers. You can tap into free articles, join our events online or in person, and watch and share future podcasts, videos and webinars. A big thanks to our valued sponsors and visionary volunteers, including our guests who we're interviewing, who make our work, our not-for-profit work, possible to help accelerate eco-efficient minerals. Thank you.